It's 7 a.m.
I guess about this time you're asking yourself what you got yourself into.
It's time to talk some sports.
And it starts right now.
On the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. You've heard the headlines. Now let's get into what's really happening.
Come on, let's go.
On the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
And good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show. The road trip continues. I am live from beautiful Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. And out here on the balcony, they said they're going to get me a Bloody Mary later. But right now I have coffee and water with a shot of Gatorade, which is all good. The super kind lady who opened up the clubhouse and restaurant here at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club literally got me coffee in it felt like 40 seconds. So she is an absolute sweetheart. Very kind to do that. Want to welcome you in. The Out of Bounds Show, powered by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Now is the time to book a stay and play, and you can play the Azaleas and or the Oaks. And then go ahead and bet on some college football and some NFL. Or NFL draft, for that matter. Oh, wow. Here comes the sun. It's right over my right shoulder. That just said hello. So there we go. It was cold out here this morning. I'll tell you more about that in just a second. There's several different ways that you can get in touch with us. Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line is 601-995-1059. 995-1059. Twitter handle at Bo Bounds. Brought to you by Ace Bolt and Screw, powered by DeWalt Tools. Twitter handle at Bo Bounds. And then your Mississippi Ag John Deere Tractor text line is 601-885-3776. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. We'd love for you to download that. And we've got a good show lined up for you today. First, I'll say good morning to Blake. Sweet Cheeks, how are you?
What's up, boss? You having fun out there, living the high life on the golf course?
I am. It was a good. I ran into my friend Steve Azar yesterday. Wonderful, talented musician. Mississippi ambassador, and loves golf. Goodness gracious, and a hell of a golfer. Was the number one celebrity on tour for a while. Doesn't play that much anymore, but still has a great game. And we had dinner at Philip M's last night, which was delicious. We had a seafood tower, and I went with the bone-in ribeye instead of the filet. Ooh. And it was mucho good. Mucho good. So that was good. Now, I think the big question here is, so I haven't done the show in studio since last Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You were in Starkville Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So the question is, how much do you miss me at this point?
Oh, so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much.
I thought
it's crazy.
Well, I didn't think that there was any doubt. So, yeah, the last time I did a show in studio was last Tuesday?
We'll have gone on 7 days. Yeah. No, that's correct, because Wednesday morning you were in Starkville.
Okay.
And then Thursday morning we were at the magnificent Live Oaks Golf Club.
Yes.
And did our Masters Thursday show from Live Oaks. Had some delicious food from Roosevelt's. And then Friday we were about our business, and then today you're at Pearl River.
Okay.
So there you go. The days add up quickly.
Wow, that's incredible. You really do. There's no question that you miss me. All right, well, there you go. You're the man. Thank you. Appreciate it, Josh. So we're going to have Tom Luganbill at 8:30 on some SEC football. Tom Luganbill at 8:30 on some SEC football. Join us on the Modelo guest line. And then we'll have Steve Robertson a little bit later in the show, Hail State Insider, on some on some baseball. But you're going to hear that throughout the morning. There's like 15 people with blowers around me getting this course ready. And, again, it's blooming in full bloom. Sorry, I need to make sure I've got my lingo right.
It's blooming.
The course is in full bloom. I'll go Vern Lundquist for you later. It's too early right now. It's been kind of a scramble this morning, but we got it, and we're on. And it looks great. And, it was fun to watch the Masters up here yesterday, a little bit at the sports book and a little bit here at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. And then had a great meal at Philip M. So let's jump into it, recapping the weekend. It's fascinating. I mean, it's crazy that Mississippi State and Ole Miss, one starts off 6-0, Ole Miss, and then has now gone 2-4 the last two weekends. And Mississippi State starts off 2-4, and then they go 6-0 the last two weekends. So we're both sitting here. I guess this just had to happen, right?
Yeah.
They're both sitting at 8-4, which is really, really good in the league. And then they play each other this weekend. I mean, is that fitting or what? They're 8-4. I think they're totally different as teams. And then they started in the last 2 weeks, polar opposites, and they'll play this weekend to see who has an advantage over the other one going forward. Now, granted, there'll be, again, plenty of baseball left to play. There's 18 games on the schedule. After this weekend, there'll be 50. You'll be midway through. But Blake, Mississippi State goes to Auburn. Auburn is not in a good spot.
Nope.
They do what they need to do. Winning on the road is still difficult. I mean, we saw some weird series over the weekend. Who had Georgia winning Game 1 and Game 3 by blowouts?
Yeah, no way.
Right.
7 home runs off that Game 1 starting combination of Kumar Rocker and the Vanderbilt bullpen. Georgia goes 7 home runs, Game 1.
Well, I thought Leiter went first.
No, it's Rocker Leiter. It goes Rocker Leiter.
Okay, Rocker Leiter.
Yeah.
But yet Leiter may be the first pick. Interesting.
Correct.
So Rocker got rocked.
Correct. It was
supposed to be funny.
It was not. Yeah. I was laughing. I'm sorry.
I got you. Okay.
It was interior humor. No, look.
Okay.
Hey, it shows that even Vanderbilt is somewhat human.
Right. They're not just baseball robots.
Correct. It's not the NL All-Star team.
Yeah.
Although sometimes it feels that way. But look, same token, you talk about an Auburn team who had a 5-0 lead on Arkansas in Game 2 and blew it, and had a 4-0 lead in Game 3 and blew it against Arkansas. So that's an Auburn team that has found ways to lose games, but has had the ability to hit the ball. And they put up, it was weird how their Sunday game against Mississippi State, 19-10, was very similar to the Ole Miss game against Auburn that was a high-scoring game on Sunday as well, where Ole Miss swept. So Auburn can hit the baseball, but they cannot pitch the baseball, which is surprising with Butch Thompson.
Yeah, and they're struggling. So, like I said, we're 12 games in. I feel like we're more than that. But maybe that's just the drama that has been created around Mississippi State and Ole Miss baseball. Because I never, ever thought that everybody would be on the edge of their seat on every game. That's how much we've lost our minds. I was surprised that Chris Lemonis actually acknowledged national seed. Did you see that in his postgame?
Hey, I mean, you know what you're working for when you're in Starkville and Oxford.
Yeah. No,
why hide from it? I mean, it's on the table every morning they wake up. They know.
They know for sure. So, Ole Miss loses 2 of 3 to Arkansas. That was like a football game yesterday, Blake, with the Rebs and the Hogs as far as scoring runs, Yeah. All right, we're live from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Now is the time to schedule your stay and play at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. here on the beautiful Pearl River Resort property. You're listening to 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, and this is the Out of Bounds Show. We'll be back with the big board coming up next.
What's on the big board? What's on the big board?
Interesting question on college football that we'll get into here in just a second. And yes, we will hit a lot of SEC football today. Mississippi State swept Auburn. They're 8-4. Ole Miss lost 2-3 to Arkansas. They're 8-4. Guess what? They'll play this weekend in Starkville. And they haven't played in a long time. They did not play last year. That's you don't say that very often, do you? So they got their football and basketball games in, and Ole Miss won the Egg Bowl. MSU and Ole Miss split hoops, winning on each other's home floor. Yeah. And now, no Governor's Cup this year. But, so they won't play 4 times, but they will play 3 times this weekend. I guess you could always run into each other in the SEC baseball tournament. They've done that before. But, yeah, they'll play this weekend in Starkville, in Stark Vegas, and it will be wild. And I'm talking about wild. The It's Too Toxic rivalry will convene once again in Stark Vegas this weekend, and it will be packed, it will be loud, it will be intense, and the two teams are looking for 2 of 3. I guess maybe a sweep, although extremely difficult. I saw this question on college football, and I thought it was interesting. Is there a college football equivalent to what happened with the Baylor-Gonzaga March Madness matchup? I mean, that would be hard to believe that would happen, right? Where 2 teams go wire to wire, 1 and 2. I mean, I guess Bama, you do have some fluctuations sometimes with Clemson and Ohio State and Oklahoma. And better yet, could you ever see a surprise team? Clemson built and grew and got blown out in the Orange Bowl by West Virginia, of all teams. And Dabo Swinney lost to South Carolina Gamecocks and Steve Spurrier 5 times in a row. Can you imagine losing the battle for the golden egg 5 straight times? And yet he survived, thrived, and then he's won 2 national championships and played for a couple of more and been in the college football playoff. Is it every year, Blake, or every year but one?
I think he's missing 1.
Okay. All right. So they missed 1 year since we rolled out the college football playoff. And we always talk about how Clemson is new money, and they found a way to get on the beach on 30A, which there's only so much real estate, and find a house in between Bama and Ohio State. And I really don't know where you go from there. But, I don't think Georgia and Florida are there. If they are, they need renovating.
That's what I was
Southern
about
Cal's
to say.
not there. If they are, they need renovating. Texas, same thing. Oklahoma, they may be there. They're not in the $15 million home. They're in the $8 million home on 30A. So Bama and Ohio State both have, and Clemson now. Clemson's that one that just made money and lets you know about it. And, Bama's had money for 100 years. And you know how those two families act, totally different. And so, Bama's been sitting there, and they were the first ones on 38, and Clemson just joined the party, but made sure to build slightly bigger about 5 years ago. And then you got Ohio State, who's a blue blood too. And then I guess if you do want to throw some other teams, in that spot, so to speak, they all need a updating of their home, and that would be Florida. I don't even know if you can put Georgia there. Can you put Georgia there, Blake?
No.
Okay. I mean, you can't put Michigan there.
No, I wouldn't put. I'd put up there. It's like Ohio State. Like you said, LSU, Florida. I think even Texas and USC. They all have houses there. They're just run down and unmaintained at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, you don't lose when you're that level of blue blood. You don't lose your property. You just lose its value, and you got to rebuild it and make it better. And so that's what hopefully we'll see if Steve Sarkisian.
Do you put Florida on there?
I think so, because they've all right. So since Spurrier
they've won 2 in the 2000s,
and Spurrier got them going early enough in the 90s that I think for all of modern SEC football, i.e. from 92 expansion on, they've been an elite level team for the 75% of those years. So I would put Florida, like you said, they're more towards the Oklahoma end of the beach, but they're still like on the front edge, especially given their ease of, winnability, so to speak.
Ooh, winnability.
Can I give
like
you?
That.
Can I give? Yeah, there you go. Making up words this morning. Pad level's low on
radio. We make up words. We're live from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Beautiful, award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Book a tee time. Grab some buddies. Come up here and tackle the courses, and then Phillip M's, and then the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Blake, go ahead.
Oh, I want to give you a team or a game that fits exactly what you were talking about, Baylor Gonzaga. And this is somewhat recency bias, but think about it with me. You've got one team who was dominant all year long, and another team who was pretty dominant all year long, and they meet in the national title, and one team pretty much runs away with it. I'll give it to you. LSU winning their national title in 2019. That's similar to the Baylor-Gonzaga matchup, because LSU, although both teams are undefeated because it's like weird college football, like both teams come in really talented. LSU absolutely dominates. The game's not near as close as we thought it would be. And Clemson's not near as competitive as we thought it would be.
Right. Okay. All right. I like that. LSU's national title from 2019. All right. So I wonder who could be the surprise this year in college football. Bama doesn't surprise anybody. Clemson doesn't. Ohio State doesn't. And I don't think really Oklahoma does. So you can take out those 4. Who could be a surprise team in college football? Could it be the Lane Train? Could it be Sark at Texas? I don't think anybody has that much confidence in what Clay Helton is doing. Again, I don't think 90% of my listeners know who Clay Helton is, but he's the head football coach at Southern Cal. Prestigious blue blood Southern Cal has Clay Helton as their coach. Mississippi State and Ole Miss have Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin, who are both 100 times better than Clay Helton and could not only win, but win big at Southern Cal. And yes, I'm aware that Lane coached at Southern Cal years ago. I'm also aware that they were under probation, that he was still growing, figuring it out. And they did go 10-2 one year and won the Pac-12 South, but were not eligible to play in the Pac-12 title game. And he did somewhat screw it up, but they were also screwed up on their end too. But if you dropped Kiffin and Leach in in Los Angeles this morning, Southern Cal would be a legitimate top 6 team in the country, because they would get the quarterback and play calling right, and the Pac-12 is absolute and total garbage as far as a league. Blake, do you disagree with any of that?
No, I think you're probably right. I mean, I think Kiffin got the short end of the stick at Southern Cal, but he was also maybe underqualified for the job at the time to say that.
At the time.
I bet you can't tell me who the 5th best odds to win the national title in 2021 is.
Okay.
The first 4, I think, are obvious. Number 5 is interesting.
Georgia.
That's number 5. You nailed it right off the bat.
It's amazing. The Kirby Smart love, and we never fell in love with it. Only Meatballs would do that. The Kirby Smart love is unbelievable. I don't get it. I don't get it. Is JT Daniels going to come up and win the SEC and take out Saban and Bryce Young and Bill O'Brien? Your thoughts on the Mississippi Ag John Deere Tractor text line 601 885-3776. We are live from beautiful, award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Live from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Thank you, Blake, for taking that out. And we're here, award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. The courses look great, the azaleas and the oaks. And Jeff just hit us with the message that he already has tee times booked in June, and he will be staying at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Smart man, Jeff. You're going to enjoy it. Great course, great time. You got Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, you have Philip M's, you have the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook, and you have Mama and M's, their new restaurant, which is super cool. It's kind of got a craft beer bar feel with some good food and a really cool bar, yummy beers on tap, and that's also in the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. So it's like 30 yards from the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Want to welcome you in. SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by the home team, Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent, and hit favorites.com this morning when you have 5 minutes, and you will save. Go local, go with the home team, Farm Bureau Insurance, and the call-in line is 601-995-1059. I am interested to see, you know, if there was ever a time for Kirby Smart to come out of the SEC and win it, it's this year. So you kind of look at what's happening. I mean, this is right now a Georgia-Bama battle. I do not think that Florida is going to be far behind Georgia. People like to make a lot of that during the offseason, because Florida is about 10 spots back in recruiting. But Dan is, 1,000 times better coach than Kirby Smart, and he actually understands the quarterback position, whereas it's foreign to, Kirby. It would be like asking me to speak Japanese during this segment. It wouldn't work out, and that's like asking Kirby Smart to coach quarterbacks this afternoon. But yeah, this would be the time. JT Daniels, a proven starter. He's going to be what is JT Daniels' best play? He's an Aaron Murray in the world of college football. I mean, that would probably be his best case scenario. He turns into an excellent college football player. And probably gets a shot at. I mean, we're about to draft Mac Jones in the top 10, and he should probably be a mid-third round pick. So JT Daniels could play his way into the NFL, because at this point we're drafting everybody.
JT Daniels could be a first-round pick next year.
Yeah, that's scary.
But so is Mac Jones.
Okay, so that's my point. Mac Jones is he first-round talent? No. Will he be picked in the first round?
Yes.
Yes. And that's just where we are in the NFL right now. I still don't believe the San Francisco 49ers are going to pick Mac Jones out of Alabama, but the bottom line is that's where we are. So if Kirby was ever going to get back to the title game like he did in year 2, after getting skull-drug by Ole Miss and Hugh Freeze in year 1. Don't forget, he walked into top 5 talent in year 1. That was not a rebuild. Richt was winning 9 to 10 games a year. And that should have told you something. But I think Ole Miss beat him by 30 or 40 in Oxford. It's one of the better teams Ole Miss has had. They just didn't finish with a good record in 2016. Odd. They smoked Georgia, top 5 recruiter, at top 6 at that time. Kirby's moved them up. We're up 3 touchdowns on Bama and up 3 touchdowns on Florida State, and nothing to show. Weird deal, but every now and then our teams, do something like that. Watch out for Georgia, and look what Alex Grinch is doing at Oklahoma. We called it several years ago. What he did at Washington State under Mike Leach was nothing short of a miracle. And that's why Lincoln Riley, who spent 7 years under Mike Leach, Lincoln Riley hired Alex Grinch to be the Oklahoma defensive coordinator, and they got a lot better last year. So I expect them to take another step forward this year. So you got Georgia, who could be in play to upset Bama or Ohio State, and maybe Clemson. And you got Oklahoma, who could be in play. But the one, I think also, the one that really could upset the apple cart is Texas, with Steve Sarkisian as the head coach, who is an amazing offensive play caller. And he hired a phenomenal defensive coordinator from the Washington Cougars. How do you say his last name, Blake?
Kwiatkowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's kind of a guru, and he's really good. So Sark could put Texas right there in play too. Another story coming out of the weekend that we'll talk about all week is Mississippi State and Ole Miss will play this weekend. They're both 8-4. One is 2-4 in their last 6 games, and the other is 6-0. And so Ole Miss started off 6-0, 2-4 the last 2 weeks. MSU started off 2-4, 6-0 the last 2 weeks, and now here they are, both 8-4. Mississippi State was 3 games back from Ole Miss just a couple of weeks ago, and they've made it up, and now they're tied at 8-4. And somebody will have the tiebreaker coming out of this weekend as they'll play 3 games in Starkville. What a matchup. McLeod and Hoagland and Bednar and Nikhazy. That's some strong stuff right there. When you look at throwing your ace on Friday night in Hoagland and McLeod, and then you come back on Saturday with Bednar and Nikhazy.
I'd argue it's 4 aces if we're being real honest.
I agree with you.
In most years, none of those guys would not. They would all be Friday night starters on whatever team they were on.
I'm with you.
Most years.
I'm with you. You know what? I'm proud of you. You just brought something to the table in the
Thanks.
show.
I do what I can.
Yeah, 737, and
I'm the
you're
7,
on a roll.
I'm the 7-hole hitter, baby. I'm 2 for 9, but I'm getting on base.
Okay, well, let's talk about a guy real quick, and I want to get back into some football. Josh Hatcher hit the ball a little bit over the weekend, and Mississippi State was in desperate need of him not only putting the ball in play, but he took it out of the yard. Your thoughts real quick, Blake.
I think you're 100% right. We've talked about this. Mississippi State, just as a team, has been looking for a little bit of identity at the plate, and he is a senior in terms of like stature on the team. He's not really a senior, but like that's your kind of veteran presence. And you saw I think him being successful provides a little bit of relief in the rest of the lineup to just go out and do their job. And then you see Tanner Allen, Cameron James, Logan Tanner, then Josh Hancock. I mean, you see these guys do their job as Hatcher, is able to also get in the mix, and I think that's huge for Mississippi State's lineup.
Cool. All right. That was Blake Mania there. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Your SEC Insider hit this morning is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go local, go with the home team. And you can always hit favorites.com. F-A-V-E, favorites.com. Want to welcome you in, say good morning. NFL Draft is right around the corner. which is exciting for Elijah Moore and Colin Hill and Royce Newman and some others, and also for Trevor Lawrence and all these quarterbacks that we're talking about. I've never seen anything like this. And I guess this is where we are in the new age of football. High school, for the most part, you can't be built like South Panola anymore. 2008, we're going to run it in between the tackles 52 times tonight and totally dominate our opponent. And Bama was built the same way in 2010, right? I mean, Bama and South, it's unbelievable where we were then and where we are today. Today we have Patrick Mahomes. We have Mike Leach. We have Lane Kiffin. We have all these amazing things going on. At the high school level, which I know is much more difficult to develop QBs, can be done, but you got to be all in. College level, well, Mississippi State and Ole Miss have never experienced this kind of QB play. Not over, like, consistently a decade plus. I mean, we know Ole Miss has had stars at that position, and Mississippi State finally got a star at that position in Dak. But if you want to go back to what South Panola looked like in 2008, run it straight up the guards, you-know-what, and they're beating everybody. Alabama, 9, 10, and 11, holding opponents to 11.8 points per game, and a heavy dose of Mark Ingram, of Trent Richardson, and several other running backs. Very, 1983 or 74. And then all of a sudden, overnight, we now have Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, all these amazing players. We have high school football in this state, rolling out better QBs that are actually throwing it downfield. And then, of course, Ole Miss and Mississippi State have gone through some big-time quarterbacks, and now everybody's airing it out. I mean, even Nick Saban goes from power between the tackles to spreading you out, going vertical, and throwing the ball around the yard every other play with Kiffin and Sark. So it was just the other day I was doing this show, and I'm talking South Panola beating people 38-3 or 0, and Bama beating people 27-3. And now all of a sudden it's 33-30, 38-33, 45-38. Heck, Ole Miss made it interesting with both Florida and Bama last year by scoring a ton of points. And even Mississippi State started to turn it on later in the year with the true freshman QB at quarterback. That's where we are today, which takes us to what Blake and I have been discussing, what's happened with the NFL draft. Everybody's going crazy. Are they reaching for QBs? Yes. And it's the big transfer position now, Blake, both at the high school level and the college level. Now, every now and then hanging around pays off. Kyle Trask, Florida. Mac Jones, Bama. There's some other examples, right? But you see that is the big transfer position now at the high school level. If a dad sees, well, my son's in 9th grade, if he's either not starting in 9th grade or 10th grade, boom, we're making a move. College level, guys are I look for transfers in Starkville and Oxford in December. I mean, that's just where we are. But, boy, if you've got a good one like Ole Miss and Mississippi State has one that's on the rise, you're sitting in a good spot because Auburn is not sure what they have. LSU doesn't know what they have. A&M doesn't know what they have. You would think Arkansas is going to figure it out, Blake, because of Kendall Browse.
But that you still have to recruit and get that guy in and then develop him. I don't know. I mean, Kendall's probably gone after this year, right? You would think, if he has another good season.
I think there's
a
great, yes, good point.
So, I mean, I don't know how much that helps you in terms of really developing QB play at Arkansas. I am interested in what Auburn does because Auburn's always like LSU. Auburn always has talent, especially defensively. And then it's what can they do? I mean, shoot, even in their last few years of poor offensive play, look at some of the receivers that they've put out on the field. Monster guys that can go out and win one-on-ones all the time. So they have talent. Seth Williams, Auburn. I think
they've actually been talent deficient there, other than, I guess, Seth. I mean, Auburn's always been built to run. When they win big, they run the football
and play
at
great
a really high level, and they play amazing defense. The question is Auburn going to transition into what Alabama has transitioned, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Florida, even Dan slinging it around like crazy, who was kind of more Big Ten-ish. I think that's the question with Auburn. Are they going to modernize their offense under Brian Harsin, or are they going to continue to be more of the Bo Jackson, Brent Fullwood, Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, and then with Cam, who was a running back / quarterback, and Michael Dyer? Is Auburn going to be able to stretch the field like Bama has proved they can do, Ole Miss has proved they can do, Florida proved that they could do, and Mississippi State may not have stretched the field, but they became very, very efficient throwing the football? That's a good question, Blake.
Because I think they've got talent, and I understand what you're saying with their, but like Malzahn's run a bit like when his offense was running right, it was that RPO where it made his receivers more open, just like Kiffin, right? His schemes, his schematics created easier talent advantages for Auburn's offense. They really didn't have, outside of Cam, it's not like they had elite level quarterbacks coming in. I mean, you could argue for sure Ole Miss and even at times Mississippi State has had much better quarterback play than what Auburn's had.
I mean, Jeremy Johnson, how many guys have we labeled under? Isn't it amazing the love that Gus Malzahn got that Dan Mullen did not receive? Every quarterback that Gus brought – that's a good point, Blake. Every quarterback that Gus Malzahn brought into Auburn was going to win the Heisman when I was at SEC Media Days for like a 6-year stretch.
Correct.
And all Dan was doing is putting up, big numbers with Dak Prescott and moving the ball with other guys.
Yeah.
Jeremy Johnson was supposed to be a Heisman Trophy winner. Stidham was supposed to be a Heisman Trophy winner. After Nick Marshall had his 2013 year where Auburn goes to the national championship game and almost beat Florida State, he was supposed to come back in 14 and be amazing. That didn't happen.
Yep.
We all know what happened with Jarrett Stidham, who went through Auburn. And Jeremy Johnson only played for like 5 minutes. And there were others. They played a kid named who was that little kid? His last name was White.
Yes, he was
White.
So short, too. I remember that,
I mean, a very okay to average Mississippi State team with just Dak Prescott in 2015 went down to Auburn and won 17-9 because Dan realized they couldn't score. He literally almost pulled a Chris Relf in Florida when he went down to Florida in year 2 and beat Urban Meyer and never threw the ball from the 12-minute mark in the second quarter till the end of the game, which still should be like one of the biggest holy smokes in college football history. So here's the deal. JT Daniels is the guy in the East. Matt Corral is the guy in the West. Will Rogers will have a wonderful year, no doubt about it. And then from there, Dan will figure it out at quarterback. We'll just see how that goes. LSU has plenty of talent. You would think that Mac Johnson, even if Ogeron screws it up, will still be really, really good. I'm sorry, maybe not really, really good, but good. I mean, I think that, I think like Bo Nix could go down to LSU and be borderline fantastic just because of the way that they're built at LSU. And then Jimbo breaking in a new QB at A&M. This is a good opportunity for State and Ole Miss to get A&M. Now, they're better than they've ever been as far as their roster, but, breaking in a new QB and Jimbo's super complicated offense, we'll see. Man, we got a crew of golfers that just walked in, and, I mean, they look like they're PGA players. I mean, that's some good-looking golf stuff they had on. So those guys are ready. They look serious. If they're not scratched to 3 to 4s, they're sure dressing like it. And I got to give props to that. Oh, Deion Sanders. All right. We'll go to the Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line. You're listening to Out of Bounds. We're live from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Who do I have, Blake? Kobe, you want to talk Deion Sanders?
Yeah, man, but homecoming was a letdown this weekend. Now, let me get your professional opinion. A lot of people around the city say, "I'll wait till next year when he gets more talent." But a lot of what I'm seeing beyond the offensive line and defensive line issues isn't talent; it's more so coaching. Like, people, I don't want a marketing specialist on the sideline. I want Saban on the sideline. And some of the play calls, like for instance, first half of the game, they can't even get the 3 points at the end of the field goal at the end of halftime because they didn't manage the clock properly. And he called 2 timeouts in the first quarter. Then they get to the fourth quarter, and they only got 2 timeouts because he didn't burn 2 in the third quarter. And even the announcer says, "Why don't you just take the penalty on the punt instead of calling timeout?" And it's like from week to week, the only progression I've seen is maybe in the punting game. The offense still looks the same after the quarterback change, and I want them to do great. I'm looking for them to shine beyond the stars, but I'm starting to get the feeling where it's too much focusing on the marketing and not the sidelines. And now with Eddie George coming to Tennessee State, the game in Memphis just got a little more oomph added to it, if you know what I mean. So, what do you all think? Because, JSU, everybody's got a target on us with him here, and the kids pissed me off. They had a crown and a gold belt dancing after every touchdown, So what's your opinion on the on the coaching that you see right now? And also, before we go, shout out to Coach Johnson and the baseball team. They leading the nation in 2 statistical categories and putting up a whole lot of runs over here at Tiger Country.
Hey, thanks for the call, Kobe. Nothing surprises me. I'm not surprised at all by where Jackson State is with Deion. That was Kobe on the Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line. Jackson State lost to Alabama A&M 52-43 over the weekend. And prior to that, they've lost to Southern U. The Alcorn State game is a forfeit. I'm not. This is what this was the whole time. It's a big marketing, branding campaign for Deion. And the question was always going to be, this is what I said, whenever this happened months ago, would he be able to stay focused on developing players and on coaching football? Not branding, marketing, podcasts, the documentary, cameras following him around, and all that. And so I'm not surprised at all. Now, does he need a little time? Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, we give other coaches, we give other coaches time. Not really in the SEC, but I think a little bit. Leach and Kiffin are getting a little bit of time to do their thing, so to speak. So he needs some time, but I don't think they're ever going to be like, super well coached, because I just don't think he'll focus on it enough. The show is presented by Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center, and also brought to you by Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. We're live from award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, Pearl River Resort. Back in a minute, we'll have Tom Luganbill at 8:30 today on the Modelo guest line.